Just a quick reminder that myself and a bunch of other great people will be at Retropalooza, Houston, Texas this weekend. I hope to see you there. What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie2988 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet. And as YouTube's resident fence sitter, here's the video that nobody asked for. A fence sitter's point of view when it comes to the Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp trial. I know you're very not excited to hear it. A lot of people have pointed out, Boogie, this is exactly the type of thing that you should be talking about, right? Like, you survived an abusive woman, your own mother. You've been through tons of relationships as well. You're still recovering from that. Why aren't you talking about it? And it's because I survived situations like that that I don't feel the desire to talk about it. The entire fact that this is on display for the world to discuss and communicate about and make jokes about, even I've joked about it, just feels weird and bad for me. It's not something I've wanted to put on my YouTube channel, though I'll make plenty of jokes about it on Twitter because Twitter's where I go to shitpost. But I figured this one time I will give you my opinion on it as a fence sitter. You're not going to like it, but I'll give it to you anyway. The internet's very pro Johnny Depp and very anti Amber Heard, and I get that. And I understand that, and I mostly feel the same way, but nobody comes out of this trial clean. I mean, Johnny comes out cleaner than Amber, right? Like, that's pretty obvious at this point. The internet has chosen their victor, even if the courts don't agree. But as a fence sitter who doesn't really care who wins and doesn't really want to beat up on the loser, I find the most fascinating thing being watching how people are reacting to this. People really are invested in this. I mean, there are people who've dedicated their entire YouTube, TikTok, Twitch presences to covering this trial. And then there are millions of people watching those people and their commentary, as well as just watching the live streams of this trial. And man, I don't really get it. I like the jokes. I like the memes. I like that part of it, but you're not going to catch me watching this for 8 hours a day. I think there's a big variety of people that are fans of this trial. And first off, I think there's the people who enjoy celebrity car crashes, the people that watch TMZ every day. They just like to watch celebrities suffer, and honestly, I don't really blame you.
They're just like real people. She shits in her husband's bed just like I do.
Then I do see a large group of people who are abuse survivors, men who've been with women like this, women who have been with men like this, and I imagine there's a large amount of catharsis for those people. Again, having been abused myself, I don't want to air somebody else's dirty laundry. I don't want to dig through it. But if it brings you some amount of comfort or healing, like, go for it. Then there's a group that I really can't identify with at all, but it's people who are watching this out of some sort of political reason, right? They're doing it because, women bad, men good, or something like that. It's so weird how even this is politicized, how this has become like a Democrat versus Republican thing here in America. It boggles my mind. This has nothing to do with like Trump and Biden, but people somehow found a way to root for their team. Not that I can completely blame those people here, because Amber Heard comes across as a bit of a caricature. Like, she doesn't seem like a real person. She seems like a straw man the internet has built up. And the clips of her that she recorded make her seem like that type of person. I don't know how you could record some of this stuff and think you were in the right, and then handed it over to somebody else thinking, this proves me as a good person. That's weird. And obviously I care enough about it to have kept up with it. I care enough about it to make this video about it. But there's certainly things I do care about more, and that doesn't seem to be the case for your average Americans, because the New York Post did a poll, and in that poll, people cared vastly more about this trial than they do about things that are going to actually affect their lives. At first, that seemed like abhorrent to me. I couldn't understand it. But then I started thinking about it. It's the same reason I play video games every day or watch TV shows. I'm addicted to Marvel and all of that other stuff. It's simply because it's escapism, right? Like, this trial will not affect your life. It will not impact you personally. That means it's fun to think about and to talk about and root for your team. It's like sports or anything else, right? In a scary world where all this other horrible stuff is happening to us, this is happening to somebody else. So it's okay to entertain ourselves with it. Originally, a few weeks ago at the beginning of this trial, I scripted out a video and even started to film a video in which I talked about my experiences in an abusive home, with abusive partners, being falsely accused of being abusive in my past. I talked about reactive abuse and put like myself into the situation. I decided not to do it. There's no reason to get up on my soapbox in the middle of this trial. Let people be entertained by this. It's okay. It's okay. Don't need to make it about myself. Don't need to try to teach anybody anything. Let's go, Johnny. But I will say, there is a hashtag #MenToo movement that I saw cropping up. And I think it is worth saying this one thing, getting off the fence long enough to make one point in this video. I obviously cannot speak for Amber Heard or Johnny Depp, even though I've seen this trial. I wasn't in the room, so I'm not comfortable calling one thing or another. But I will say, hashtag #MenToo. Men do get abused. That is a thing that happens. And society forces us to cover it up. When I have shared my experiences, I cannot tell you how many times people told me, there's no way that even happened. You were bigger than her. How is that even possible? Because they don't want to hear it and they don't want to believe it. And I don't really understand why. Men are not allowed to hit women, obviously, but women are allowed to hit men in our society. And I don't understand why. And obviously a man can't hit a woman back, but no one should be hitting anybody. Not like Amber Heard said, not with your fist or even an open hand. Keep your hands off your partner unless they invite you to do it. And whereas physical abuse is always bad, there's other types of abuse, and women are very capable of doing that, even if they never lay a hand on you. Emotional abuse, mental abuse, psychological abuse, narcissism runs rampant. It's a thing. It's a thing, and you just need to accept that it's a thing. We spent the last almost decade talking about how difficult it is to be a woman and how people will abuse you as a woman, and that's fine, and that's true. But doesn't it make sense that since men are humans as well, we also get abused? And it's difficult for a woman to speak out about that abuse, but it's also difficult for men to speak out about this abuse as well. And I'm hoping this will open the door so more men will feel the desire to be heard. No pun intended. I don't want you to be Amber Hearded, but I do want you to be heard. So let me raise a pint of water to the men who are watching this trial because they've been abused by a woman who might happen to be your partner, your mother, a sister, a coworker, a random stranger at a bar. If this stuff has happened to you and you're waiting for the outcome of this trial because it means something to you for that reason, I'm watching it for the same reason. Let's see how it plays out. I think it's sad that in this society, we need huge events like this to make it okay to talk about this stuff. Like the entire Harvey Weinstein incident sparked a multi-year movement that allowed women to talk about their experiences. And maybe, regardless of the outcome, regardless of who's found at fault in this situation, maybe it'll spark a conversation where men can talk about that stuff for a while too. And I hope we do. And that's the silver lining of this entire circus, this shit show. And of course, I am just one man. I know I could be wrong. And if I am wrong, I know you're going to let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoy these videos, drop a like on this video, hit subscribe so you can see more fence-sitting goodness in the future as well. And for those abuse survivors out there, whether you be male, female, or anything else, I don't know, how many genders are there now? My Zer dragons or whatever you are, know that you survived it. It's over. And it's time for peace. I love you. I love you. Thanks for watching. I love you very much. And I'll speak with you again soon.